Time stood still, shadows drifting along my wall. How long am I going to do this? Solitude was proving detrimental to any glimmer of hope. My heart felt heavier with each moment. How lonely the wistful, forlorn mind can become. I've been swept up in a frightening world I didn't understand and couldn't possibly control. I can't possibly figure out what's happening to Father if I'm stuck here. Only Hijikata can give me permission to leave, and he's gone. All I could do was wait. Lamenting things I couldn't change wouldn't improve my situation and would arguably make it worse. I knew I couldn't trust the men of the Shinsengumi completely. They were, after all, men who could take life in the blink of an eye. It would be just as easy for them to end my life. Well, at least they've all been nice to me, for now. They're nice men deep down, right? Does anyone ever call you gullible? What are you doing here? Oh, you didn't notice me. Well, it's my turn to keep watch. Did you hear everything I said? He had heard me. He had definitely heard me. I wanted to scream, but before I could open my mouth, Saito stepped out from behind the door. I think that's enough fraternizing, Soji. Wait. Were you here the whole time, too? I arrived only moments ago. Oh, thank goodness. I'm sorry for screaming like that. It's nothing. And at any rate, it's not as if you said anything that would cause trouble for you. True, I didn't say anything bad, but still. Well, I was just embarrassed to be caught talking to myself. As Saito watched me fidgeting and mumbling, his eyes pierced right through me. I came to tell you that dinner is ready, but have I interrupted something? Oh, no, nothing at all. I had intended to wait until you and Soji finished your discussion, but I figured if I left the two of you alone, it would be longer before I saw either of you, so I came in. Saito shrugged shortly before we caught the sound of footsteps approaching us noisily. Heisuke shot through the door. The moment he saw us, however, his face fell. Hey, guys! Dinner time! My apologies, Heisuke. I'll be there presently. Yeah. You too, Chizuru. Hurry up or it's gonna be gone before you know it. Sorry, Toto. I'll be there as soon as I can. He turned to leave, but he halted in his tracks. He pursed his small lips together before speaking. Look, can you drop the whole Toto thing? Just call me Heisuke. Everybody else does. Are you sure? Yeah, why not? We're practically the same age. Oh, and we don't need to use honorifics. Alright. I'll do that then, Heisuke. Great. Sounds better already. Shall we go? Let's eat. You're late. You kids are late. Who's gonna answer to my crying stomach? You mean growling Shin. Really, he's so simple sometimes. You guys ought to apologize to my stomach. He wanted to dig in, but I said, no, we've gotta wait for him. You're such a softie, Shin. Alright guys, it's time to eat, and that means every man for himself. Man, there's barely enough here to feed a kid, let alone a man. So I'll just have to... take yours! Survival of the fittest! This food is mine! Ah, these three are trouble. Hey! Why do you always steal my food? It's cause of the difference in size, kid. I got a bigger body. That means I need more food. Well, I'm still growing, old man, so I gotta eat more too. Sorry you had to see this, Chizuru. They're always like this. I've, gotten used to it. How are we to deal with accepting such insanity? Oh. Why aren't you taking anything? Yeah, I'm good. If I eat too much, I slow down.
Hey, what do you mean slow? Oh, whatever, I'm taking that.
Go for it. So long as I got a little sake to sip, I'm good.
Sounds like I'm going with sake too.
Try not to worry about eating too much or being a freeloader or something, Chizuru. Just eat your little heart out, okay? I know. I can't help but feel a little bad, though.
Well, if you let that get to you, you're gonna lose. You have to protect what's yours.
Okay. Always eating alone made the experience of dinner with these men both an exhilarating and a frightening evening for me. It was actually fun.
See, there's that smile. You ought to do that more often. We aren't gonna hurt you.
Harada. His mouth curled up into an honest smile of his own. Had I really looked so down? Perhaps they were all trying to cheer me up. I wasn't quite sure how to feel. I was conflicted over whether or not to feel pity for myself or to appreciate the moment for what it was. The joy seemed to be winning out, however, and I caught myself smiling as Inoue entered the room.
Gentlemen, do you have a moment?
As usual, his voice was warm, but in his eyes was a level of solemnity I'd never seen before, at least during our brief acquaintance thus far. The warmth of the room slowly evaporated.
I've just received word from Osaka. Sannan has been gravely injured in battle.
What? What happened?
A dry goods store in Osaka was invaded by a group of Ronin. Toshi and Sannan arrived in time to enter the fray and subdue the Ronin. However, Sannan was stabbed during the encounter.
Is he going to be alright?
According to the letter, he is gravely hurt, but the wound is on his left arm. It will be hard for him to wield a blade, but he will almost certainly survive.
Oh, thank goodness. I exhaled as a brief sigh of relief, but the rest of the room was tense, still itching for answers.
He should be returning here in a few days. Now please, excuse me. I must speak with Kondo.
He turned as he spoke, his last words delivered over his shoulder, and was gone. It was Saito who soon broke the awkward silence.
An injury so grave, he cannot clutch his sword. Perhaps the wound severed an artery. To wield a blade with one arm is a disservice. He may never carry a blade again if it's true.
Oh. At last I understood.
Fighting with a single hand would mean less strength behind his blows. Against an opponent of similar skill, he would almost certainly lose.
If push comes to shove, he'll have to take it. I don't think Sannan's just going to give up.
Don't jinx him, Soji. It's gonna look bad if officers start joining the Furies.
Huh? Wait, that didn't make any sense. What are the Furies? Oh, so Furies come from something you drank where any injuries could be cured.
Heisuke!
Huh? Before I could move, Harada was on his feet and halfway across the room. I barely had time to gasp before he drove his fist into Heisuke. Ow! Heisuke, are you alright?
Sano, you're overreacting. That was my bad, Heisuke. I slipped first. You alright? Sorry.
After a moment, Harada curtly nodded to Heisuke in apology, the latter offering a quick pained smile. Nah, I should have been watching what I said. Still, Sano, you didn't have to hit me. His punch had enough force to knock out a lesser man, but Heisuke seemed unfazed. It was never clearer how different these men were.
Chizuru, everything you just heard is something you are never to repeat. I'm sure you're curious, but we can't tell you anything else, so don't ask. And forget what you just heard from Heisuke.
His voice was friendly, but his eyes gave his words a cold weight that made me feel uncomfortable. The Furies that Heisuke spoke about are meant to be pitied. Okita's voice was flat, emotionless. A sudden chill of melancholy entered his eyes. I couldn't bring myself to say anything more. Thankfully, Nagakura broke the awkward silence.
It's nothing you need to worry yourself about. You don't have to get all worked up.
I was only a guest in their house, not a warrior of the Shinsengumi. The truth of the Shinsengumi secrets were no business of mine, something I'd known. There was little value in that sentiment, however.
Put it from your mind. Involving yourself in our affairs will only put you in greater danger.
I bit my lip and kept silent. The wall between us was almost tangible, almost far too large an obstacle for me to defeat easily. I finished my dinner in sad silence, excused myself, and returned to my room. I had a great deal to think about. Furies, huh? I wondered to myself if the Furies referred to the Rakshasa pictured in Buddhist texts. Though I wasn't well versed, I recalled reading a text about a man-eating demon god with that name. I have no idea where to start, from drinking the medicine to Captain becoming a Fury. No, I wasn't supposed to think about those things. I was only going to get myself in trouble if I snuck my nose where Again I said snuck. Stuck my nose where it didn't belong. Seeing or hearing the wrong thing could kill me. If I die, I'll have a hard time looking for my father. The Shinsengumi captains are keeping themselves hush around me, especially about the Furies. Are they doing it to protect me? Even if I dug around, I'm sure nothing good would come of it. With that in mind, I did my best to clear my head of the evening's events and slipped into my futon. Just go to sleep. And now it's March. March 1864. It fast approached a month since I began living within the Shinsengumi headquarters. Hijikata and Sannan finally returned to the compound from their trip to Osaka, but spirits were low. Sannan's injury had unforeseen consequences for everyone in the organization. Day-to-day operations became hectic for a little while. His wounds seemed quite dire, and they drained whatever goodness in his nature he'd hoped to keep. Sannan would spend days holed up in his room, protected by a barrier of impenetrable silence. If he were to leave his room, a rare occasion now, he was often short-tempered and quickly retreated. Even though I too spent days in the exile of my room, he seemed to take it much differently. Sannan seemed trapped within a painful memory, each day bringing him closer to a gloomy twilight. I softly pondered what service I could offer to the Shinsengumi if I were not allowed to search for my father. I'm sure Hijikata is overwhelmed with whatever business he's dealing with, but I need to visit him. I realize with the tension so high that it's better to have Hijikata on my side rather than not. Come on. Come on now. I crept around the hall looking for Hijikata, but he was nowhere to be seen. Would it be impolite to visit his room directly? As I paced around the hall in contemplation, an unknown warrior appeared before me. Ah, sweet Takeda. I've been living in the Yagi residence for a month, but he was unfamiliar to me. My current dilemma compelled me to approach him. Excuse me, have you seen Hijikata? The man turned to respond, and my eyes widened to scan his enormous frame before he spoke.
And who might you be? Mind telling me what you're doing here?
Oh, well, it's a long story.
Don't make me repeat myself. Answer me!
I'm Chizuru Yukimura.
Ah. I recall hearing the commander recruited a young apprentice as his new page. Must be you.
Yes. I wasn't aware they were telling people that I was an apprentice warrior at headquarters. However, my reputation was the last thing on my mind as I faced this man's pressuring gaze. I didn't appreciate the harsh scrutiny he seemed to impose, scanning me from head to toe.
So why don't you start telling me about how you know the chief and commander? I hear you're from Edo, but what kind of tricks did you have up your sleeve to slide in here?
I did no such thing!
Ah, but judging by how defensive you became, it sounds like I'm right on target. Look, this isn't the place where someone without any worth on the battlefield or in the strategy room can waltz in without earning it. I'm going to ask you one more time. How did you get in with the Chief and Commander? Kanryu Takeda, I'm asking you a question! What makes you think you can just ignore me?
He grew increasingly agitated, almost like a petulant child because I refused to answer him. He reached his massive hand over towards me as if to grab me, but then a voice stopped him. The man who always knows when I'm in trouble. Hey, Takeda! What the hell are you doing here? When he recognized Hijikata's voice, he snapped his hand back to his side.
Well, well, Commander Hijikata. I'm here on business with Chief Kondo.
That's so. I've heard nothing about this.
He called me on special orders to assist him while Colonel Sannan is out of commission. However, as it appears Chief Kondo is nowhere to be seen, so I will be on my way now.
Takeda turned to take his leave, but then he slowed his step, leaving us with a few words.
As a side note, Commander Hijikata, are the rumors true that you've welcomed this young blood as your page?
Yes, but it is none of your concern to know more.
Ah, forgive me. I'll refrain from pressing for details, as it seems to be out of my jurisdiction. I do, however, question your predisposition toward keeping those from your birthplace close to you. It seems I forget myself. Please excuse me.
Once Takeda exited the hall, I couldn't help but feel a rush of relief.
Hey, Yukimura. Don't be walking around the headquarters without permission.
Yes, sir. I didn't mean to cause trouble.
Your presence here is not common knowledge, and only those staying at Yagi residence know. Be mindful of anyone who visits from the Mayakawa residence. Is that clear?
Clear. I promise to be more careful going forward. So, may I ask who that man was?
That man is the captain of the 5th Division. His name is Kanryu Takeda. His swordsmanship is decent, but he is well read and possesses a cunning mind for military science. He's a tricky one, so be careful.
Okay.
Furthermore, if you have no business being out, then I expect you to stay put in your room.
Hijikata attempted to dismiss me, having said what he felt was appropriate as a stern commander. I will do that this time. Understood. Although I was able to finally see Hijikata, I didn't want to walk around and cause trouble. So, just as Hijikata ordered, I decided to return to my room. Don't have to impress him this time around. Need some water. June 1864. The 4th year of the Bankyo era became the Ganji Ganen, and the summer sweetly blossomed. Spring shed its blooming skin, giving birth to lush green trees facing the wide open sky. During one of these beautiful summer days, I finished cleaning after everyone ate breakfast, and Saito brought me to the hall to Hijikata. Hey, I get to accompany Saito this time around.
Commander, it's Saito. I've brought Yukimura. Come in.
Saito responded by quietly opening the sliding doors, gesturing me to enter the room. Upon entering, I saw Hijikata, but also Okita, Nagakura, Harada, and Heisuke in the hall. It appeared that only the captains, who were aware of my situation, were present.
I know you have been waiting for some time, but the time has finally come to let you out.
Really? I could barely contain the excitement in my voice as soon as the words came out of his mouth. So, is it true there was a man of Fushimi that matched my father's profile?
We're not sure if it's true or not. It was our intention to let you verify for us, considering his daughter would recognize him best.
I nodded in response. For now, any information pertaining to my father was appreciated, so I was thankful. So, where is this man who supposedly looks like my father?
Our initial reports outline a place called the Terada Inn in Fushimi. Saito is assigned to check.
Saito is assigned. I wasn't sure if that meant I was to accompany Saito, or if I would have to wait longer for him. Then Harada chimed in.
But this doesn't necessarily mean Kodo is a guest of this inn. Yeah, being sighted in Fushimi could just mean he was walking around the city of Kyoto. Exactly. So that's why I'm asking the three of you, Harada, Shinpachi, and Heisuke, to take her along on your rounds to assist her search for Kodo.
All of us? Usually we split up and go on rounds separately.
Hijikata didn't bother entertaining a response, instead looking towards me. Was he suggesting these were the men who were responsible for dealing with me should I attempt to flee? Heisuke must have sensed this as well, so he made no attempt to push the issue any further. I understand what you're saying, but I don't like the fact that you're making us do all the babysitting. I thought you planned on patrolling as well, Hijikata. So, for your own benefit, why don't you show your adorable page the ropes by having her with you?
What the hell are you talking about? Aren't you the one who pushed her onto me? I'm not having any of your insolence today. She isn't my page.
Maybe, but all of the lower-ranking men are starting to believe it. There is, after all, a grain of truth in every lie, so why don't you give her a befitting job? As Okita and Hijikata bickered at one another, the mood of the room was locked in their tense words until Harada whispered to me.
Well, Kyoto, as you've seen, isn't the safest place right now, so don't force yourself to leave. I mean, we all know what Kodo looks like too, so the risk doesn't have to be yours alone.
I could look for my father in Fushimi, or join the patrol rounds, assuming he's moved places, or stay here to keep safe from the outside, or accompany Hijikata as his page. What should I do? I think it's Fushimi. Yes, Fushimi. My father might be at Fushimi. I want to find out. Even if he had already left Fushimi, there was a chance I could find a lead to his next location. I had already made up my mind. I will go to Terada Inn. Saito, would you mind if I come along with you?
Sure.
Thank you. Wow, I couldn't believe I might see father. My heart pounded heavily in my chest, and I did my best to keep my composure and bow. Well, that was wrapped up rather quickly. The nice little bow. The air was slightly humid, a thin dampness permeating despite no signs of rain.
It's been a while since you've been outside, huh? How do you feel?
It was an even longer while since I've worn straw sandals, so blisters formed around my strap. I'm fine. I was eager to see if my father was nearby, so I ignored any minor distractions or obstacles.
I see.
It seemed Saito could read through my words, and he pretended to ignore my discomfort. We were heading to Fushimi, which is south of Kyoto. Hijikata mentioned my father was staying at the Terada Inn, but how do we even know if it's legit?
Our report comes from a local inspector. Supposedly, a bald doctor practicing Western medicine stayed there, which fits your father.
A bald doctor? I grew restless with anticipation from Saito's words, and my heart couldn't contain itself. Could this person really be my father? How many bald men practice his field of study?
Let's hurry. If you need to rest, tell me.
Okay. Aw, he's so sweet. I had to make sure Saito doesn't see me as a burden, so I tucked my strap and hurried with him. Shortly after, we reached the Terada Inn located in Fushimi. Is my father really here? The inn itself looked well kept from the outside, and Fushimi stirred in the background. I clenched my throat nervously as I approached the door, but I waited for Saito to instruct me.
There appears to be a tea shop on the other side. Let's go in.
Wait, we're going through the tea shop? Why didn't he go in immediately to snoop around? Finesse, girl, finesse. I had so many questions, both for him and father. However, Saito seemed very calculated, scanning the area since we arrived, so it felt best to trust in his judgment. We entered the tea shop around the other side, and Saito began scoping the Terada Inn. Saito led me to a seat near the shop's balcony, and he whispered discreetly into my ear.
The Terada Inn has been noted in reports as a popular destination for the Satsuma domain. Because of this, I am cautious that there could be Ronin from the west staying here.
From the west? From what I knew, the Choshu domain was connected to Imperial Ronin from the west as well. A domain governed by Takachika Mori, an opposition daimyo. Most members of this domain were nationalist imperialists during the early part of the Bakumatsu period. Okay. More terminology. What does that mean for my father, to be here?
One cannot say for certain. It could all be a coincidence, or it could spell worse.
Oh no, surely it's a coincidence. Saito looked at me but didn't respond. The possibility of my father conducting business in Fushimi now pointed to an implicit relationship between him and imperialists. But that couldn't be the case. My father explicitly told me he was visiting Kyoto under direct orders from the shogunate. Surely there was a reason for the confusion, but what kind of reason would he have being here?
Our connection with the Aizu domain means it could be careless, let alone dangerous, for us to enter the Terada Inn without tact. Therefore, I figured it would be good for you to sit here and observe the inn and its customers for clues. Is that alright?
Huh? You want me to watch the inn? Saito wasn't my babysitter, but I'd appreciate some backup if something went wrong. Does Saito trust me enough for him to take his eyes off of me? I didn't want to mess things up. Saito, ever the keen eye, spoke to comfort me.
Look, the Imperialists know what I look like. If any of them see me, there's no telling what they'll do to me, or even you. Don't worry, okay? I'm going to be gathering information nearby. If something happens to you, I'll be here for you before you know it.
Aww. He's so sweet! Alright, but I'm holding you to that.
Okay then, I'll leave you to it.
Saito stood quickly and disappeared into the crowd, leaving me in my seat at the tea shop. I had to play the part, so I gathered my bearings in my new surroundings, and I approached the customer visiting the shop for questions. Time to gather some intel. For a second, I had to remember I was there for a mission, but it felt like I was a spy in a play. I gathered some intel from customers confirming sightings of a bald doctor of Western medicine who frequented the Terada Inn until a few days ago. Unfortunately, the leads ran dry for anything during the past 2 or 3 days. Huh, looks like we may have just missed him. I braced myself for the possibility that the lead was false, but even still, it was discouraging to come up with nothing. This was no time to be upset, though. Maybe he would return to the inn after finishing whatever business it was that took him away. Look, longing for a loved one to return is like waiting for a wound to heal, where the memory of the time before the pain seeps into every moment after. With the approval of the tea shop's owner, I watched the happenings of the Terada Inn from the shop's balcony. Just then, a mysterious visitor approached me.
Waiting for someone.
Huh? He caught me off guard. Had he been watching me? I turned around, nearly clutching my Kadachi. Whoa! Hey! It's the last boy that we've yet to meet! What an entrance! He just had, like, some cherry blossoms ready to blow. Well, hello. He took a seat near me, staring at my hand as if to assure me from harm. Who was this man? Most importantly, will he die yet again? He didn't look like anyone I'd ever seen before.
Something the matter? You look dazed. If you're not waiting, are you looking for someone?
Oh, no. I shook my head, unsure if he could be trusted. You see, well, I'm looking for my father.
Ah, I see. Father, eh? That sounds like a predicament. Have I heard of him before? If you tell me his name, I may be able to assist you.
I'm not sure. I contemplated whether or not this man would have known my father, or even the possibility that telling this man anything would jeopardize me. However, any information he could have may help. My father visited Kyoto on a business trip, but he suddenly ceased communication with me. Rumors surfaced that someone with his likeness came to this inn, and I had to see for myself.
So, you're from the east, then?
Yes, I came from Edo.
Ah, that sounds like quite the journey. I assume you're not familiar with the area either. I should help you out.
Uh-huh. Well, How should I respond? I mean, this could be a chance to get some intel. But am I just getting points with this guy? I don't know. You know what? No, we have the ability to save. I want to impress Saito with my sleuthing skills. Are you sure? I would appreciate some help. Huh. It's gonna take some time to get used to this new guy.
I wouldn't want to trouble you with my presence, but if you'll let me, I'd love to help you out.
It wouldn't trouble me at all. It would be great for you to help me. Thank you so much.
I'm Umataro Saitoni. You can call me Saitoni, or Ume, or whatever you'd like.
Oh, that's dangerous. A person who encounters the protagonist of the Terada Inn while she searches for her father. Okay, nice to meet you, Saitoni. My name is Yukimura. It's very nice to meet you.
Yukimura, huh? You know, some say that your name matches your figure, and I'd have to agree.
You think my name matches my figure? Nice smile. What does that mean?
What's your first name? With such a cute face, you must have a cute name as well. It has to be.
Well, cute is kind of a stretch. If I told him my name was Chizuru Yukimura, he might suspect me to be a woman. I'm pretty sure he already knows.
Oh, well, it's okay for you to not tell me. They do say every woman has her secrets.
Told ya. After he said those words, I gasped and covered my mouth with my hands. Wait a minute, Saitoni. I'm not a woman.
Huh. You can't be serious. You are a woman, or do you take me for a fool?
I would never take you for a fool.
Well, I'm sure a cute girl like you has plenty of men bothering her all around town, so I think it's smart of you to dress like a man.
Thanks? The nonchalantness of his response made me practically faint from relief. I think I found my narcissist guy, though.
So, why don't you go ahead and tell me your first name, eh?
Considering he's already figured out I'm a woman, I saw no harm in being honest with him about my name. My name is Chizuru Yukimura.
Chizuru, huh? I knew it. I knew it would be a cute name, just as fitting on a cute girl.
You think so?
Enough about that. What kind of men do you like? If you had to go on a date, where would you go?
Sir? I thought you were supposed to be helping me here. Saitoni? We're not talking about me right now. I thought you were going to help me look for my father.
Oh, that's right, huh? I totally forgot about that.
Darn narcissist. Saitoni's talent appeared to be in engaging seemingly endless conversations. Since he was the first person outside of the Shinsengumi with whom I'd spoken, I completely lost track of time. Luckily, Saito appeared to rescue me.
Yukimura, sorry for keeping you. I just returned.
Oh, hi, Saito.
Ah, it looks like your friend came back. I should get going now. You don't need my help here.
You look great. Saitoni stood up from his seat slowly, appearing dejected as if I'd broken his heart. Look, I'm on another route right now, okay?
Well, later, Chizuru. Hope fate brings us together again.
Oh, maybe. She said nonchalantly. Before I could tell him goodbye, Saitoni had wandered off. Saito focused on him, making sure he was out of earshot, and muttered quietly into my ear. Yes?
Who was that man?
He snuck up behind me earlier. Supposedly his name is Saitoni. How did it go, Saito? Were you able to find anything useful about my father?
I will brief you on our journey back to headquarters, but don't get your hopes up.
Oh. I felt my stomach drop from his words, and I assumed it meant the lead was false. I clenched my fist tightly, fighting back angry tears. I couldn't let Saito see my disappointment.
Hold on. I'm going to go pay for your bill.
Okay. Aw, sweet bean!